Good evening and welcome to the Harrogate Conference Centre. Her Majesty the Queen arriving to be greeted by the Marquis of Normanby, the Lord Lieutenant for North Yorkshire, on the occasion of this royal celebration of youth. Inside, she's welcomed by Paul Fox, the Managing Director of Yorkshire Television, the company responsible for this evening's coverage. And he now presents to Her Majesty, first of all, Derek Palmer, who is the Chairman of Yorkshire Television, and Mrs. Palmer, Mrs. Paul Fox, Lord Remnant, the President of the YMCA, and Lady Remnant. Next to her is Mrs. Ward, the wife of the Chairman of the YMCA, Gerald Ward, and it's he who now escorts the Queen, who's the patron of the YMCA, across to the second presentation party, headed by the familiar figure of Jimmy Tarbuck. Now, he'll be the first of the established stars of today who will be introducing the stars of tomorrow in this evening's show. And next to him are two local members of the YMCA, Maxine Wilson and Paul McGreevy. They're representing the large body of membership of that organisation that are going to be benefiting from the proceeds of this evening's performance. The fanfare to herald the arrival of Her Majesty the Queen is played by the trumpeters of Kneller Hall. Now, as the audience take their seats, let us too sit back and enjoy this royal celebration of youth.
I have followed the career of our next artist with great interest because I saw her first of all in America a couple of years ago. She was 14 and winning many medals and accolades. Not only is she internationally known as a dancer, but she is also a professional figure skater and actress. Now she will dance Tchaikovsky's Sleeping Beauty, accompanied by Raymond Cohen, violin. I would like to present to you Katherine Healy.
wonderful. Really wonderful. Superb. Katherine Healy, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely superb, Katherine Healy. Ladies and gentlemen, coming your way right now is a very talented young man. He's a singer, he's a musician.
Well, a little later, the artists assembled to line the walkway and await presentation to Her Majesty the Queen, and none more eagerly than 8-year-old Brendan Whitey, the composer of that final song. A rather diminutive figure standing there in the shadow of Terry Waite, but obviously not overawed by the occasion at all. The presentations are being made by Vernon Lawrence, Yorkshire Television's controller of entertainment. Emma Johnson, the young clarinet player, who was the first of this evening's solo performers with George Gershwin's Summertime. The 2 brothers and 3 sisters of the Pearson family, who make up Five Star. Their father, too, has been in the business for many years. He was guitarist for Wilson Pickett some years ago. Andrew O'Connor. And after Dame Vera Lynn, Lina Zavaroni, a star for a decade and still a young performer. Sir Geraint Evans, now retired, of course, from the professional stage. And the young lady he introduced, Maureen Brathwaite, just starting out on what surely is going to be a great career. The American dancer, Tim Flaving. He won 3 awards recently for his performance in On Your Toes in the West End. The 3 members of AHA, the Norwegian group, currently establishing themselves in the pop charts right across the world. We understand they've brought with them a personal message to the Queen from King Olaf of Norway. Choreographer Brian Rogers, with his assistants Helen Jenkins and Radford Quist, and some of the 20 young dancers who took part in tonight's performance. Scott Peters. And after Tom O'Connor, Bonnie Langford. Guitarist Paul Galbraith. A lady who's no stranger to royal performances, Cilla Black. You didn't catch her. She said it wasn't work for me to have to introduce the man standing beside her, Bobby Davro, with his assistant. And Dame Alicia Markova, whose great career must be an inspiration for young ballerinas, like the young lady she introduced this evening who's standing beside her, Katherine Healy. One of the festival ballet's bright stars of the future, and she's also made a film with Dudley Moore. Nick Kershaw. And finally, as Sebastian Coe, who introduced the evening, is presented to Her Majesty, it's time for us to say goodnight from the Harrogate Conference Centre and this royal celebration of youth.
There are some unexpected visitors at the Crossroads Motel, next on Thames.